At the end of life. Cha. Also. Mam. Me. Eva. Certainly. Smaran. Remembering. Mukva. Quitting. Kalevaram. The body. Ya. He who. Prayati. Goes. Saha. He. Matvavam. My nature. Yati. Achieves. Na. Not. Asti. There is. Atra. Here. Samshaya. Doubt. Translation. And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. I say, please repeat. And whoever, at the end of his life, quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this, there is no doubt. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as a tree. Aurora eva sahishnuna. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So, remembering seems to be pretty important. So, hopefully, we are blessed with that remembrance. Of course, Krishna tells us that he basically, Krishna assures remembrance for his devotees. And he's the source of that remembrance and forgetfulness. Krishna wants us to forget him, and we'll forget him. But if Krishna wants us to remember him, then no one can stop us from remembering Krishna. But it's so important for us to have the desire. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada has instructed us that the human form of life is meant for tapasya. For those who don't understand that word, it means it's meant for a little austerity, or not trying to enjoy the senses. We are, and Prabhupada also taught us that we have to make the best deal of a bad bargain. We always are trying to enjoy these bodies, but we're not these bodies. So, to become a little patient, a little tolerant of the pains that this body produces, but simultaneously to apply the simple process that Srila Prabhupada gave, those simple austerities that he gave us, to be actually peaceful in life. As Tejas Prabhu often stresses that we are the soul. So we're actually having a human experience. It's like sometimes people say, I have a soul. But no, we are the soul. So we're experiencing these human bodies. This isn't us, though. But it's a great benefit for us compared to other forms of life, lower forms of life. In this human form of life, we actually have that ability to inquire who we are, who's God, where do we come from, why are we here. We actually have this ability, so we have to take advantage of it and make the best deal of a bad bargain. This bargain that we agreed to by accepting material bodies is that it has to die. So we're meant to perform a little sacrifice in this lifetime. But it's very joyful. It's not anything that's not joyful. Srila Prabhupada taught us it's a very simple process. Chanting. It's just like today, one of them, Bhakti was leading such a nice kirtan. And here it's stressed the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the chanting of Hare Krishna. So that's part of our austerity. Chanting Krishna's holy name. How austere is that? It takes just a little faith, a little confidence in the words of pure soul. That if we chant this holy name, we'll become happy. Eating prasadam, how austere is that? I'm just saying, these austerities that Prabhupada asks us to perform, when we actually think about it, they're very joyous. Sometimes people may think rising early is not joyous, but once you actually, it doesn't take much to train your body. The body is not you. So if you train it, you just go to sleep early. And you rise early. Once again, how difficult is it? It's not difficult. So all these things, these austerities that Srila Prabhupada instructed us to perform, they're joyous once we actually apply them to our lives. Srila Prabhupada says, the whole Vedic civilization is based on controlling the senses. So, he also says that this comes automatically for the devotee. So if we apply his process, we automatically control our senses. We just have to listen and apply. Utilization, other things that Srila Prabhupada gave us, these 4 simple things, and all of us, for the most part, probably have heard these things. Books are what? The basis, right. So, basis, from my understanding, it's like the foundation. Prabhupada wanted us to know his books. He described as a lawyer knows the law books. So that we become expert at presenting Krishna consciousness to others. And it's the basis, it's the foundation, knowing his books on how we conduct our lives, how we live and interact with others. Preaching is the essence. So, right now we're discussing one verse of Bhagavad Gita. Some may use the word preaching, but it's actually, the essence means it's essential. It's essential for us to share this knowledge, to give that was given to us by Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. So it's essential for us to share this knowledge, to hear each other's realizations, to become enlivened by hearing, by association, by relishing in each other's realizations, uplifting each other more and more in our consciousness. Utility is the principle. To utilize things properly, Prabhupada says that nothing is bad when it is utilized for Krishna. Nothing is good when it is utilized for sense gratification. That's a simple way to understand utility is the principle. We utilize it for Krishna, it's good. We utilize it for our sense gratification, it's bad. It can be the same thing. Good and bad. Double-edged sword. How we apply it. And then purity is the fourth. So we have to become patient. We have to persevere. As the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. So this, in relation to this, because this is mentioned in the purport about purity also. I also remember Srila Prabhupada saying that Krishna is pure. And if you follow Krishna, then you. He was being humble. He's saying, I'm not pure. He said, but Krishna is pure. So if we follow Krishna, that is our purity. So in other words, simply follow Krishna's instructions. And we should do our very best in attempting to become more and more pure, to practice these things of being patient, being perseverant, being non-judgmental, to always see Krishna. It's the Uttamadipari. He always sees Krishna's hand. There's another verse which I'll read that Srila Prabhupada has quoted. For us to be wise, to be considered as wise, and we all would like to be considered wise. We don't want to be considered stupid or unintelligent. We would like to be considered wise. So Srila Prabhupada described this as being wise. Someone who sees another's wife as mother, another's wealth as trash in the street, and another's sufferings as his own, is actually a pandit, or a wise person. So these are things that, simple instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave us that we can meditate on so much, and to always be appreciative and thankful in our actions. And how do we do that with Srila Prabhupada? I feel one way to do it is to read his books every day. And to apply his teachings to our life, but to be hungry and thirsty for the knowledge that he's given us. To show that appreciation, to show that we really desire and yearn for his mercy. That, I believe, will ultimately, we're at the mercy of Krishna. We, through identifying with material nature for so many births, for so many lifetimes, years, we have become somewhat callous to the mercy of the Lord, thinking, in some circumstances, either completely in ignorance that we need the Lord's mercy, or that in arrogance that we don't care for the Lord's mercy. But we're all completely dependent on the Lord. We're so insignificant. Even the materialist scientists have come to understand to some degree the vastness of this material creation. And this is just a fragmental part of Krishna's eternal creation. It's so small compared to the spiritual world. And yet, we see sometimes materialists are so proud of their accomplishments, are so proud of their knowledge, and yet it is so minute compared to what Srila Prabhupada has given us. He's given us the spiritual world. And There was once a story where Prabhupada had arrived somewhere and he sat on the Vyasa sign, and I can't remember the exact details, but what I think is Srila Prabhupada said, thanking the devotees for inviting him to whatever city it was. But then he actually said, no, actually we're in Vaikuntha. So when you're sitting here before the deities and in this holy place, we're actually in Vaikuntha. We may not fully realize it, but we can accept that based on what Srila Prabhupada has taught us. So to actually meditate every day more and more on Krishna's mercy, on how we're so indebted. So as I often say, what if I were to make a crazy statement right now? It's so cold outside. Who would believe me? It's so cold. Can someone give me a blanket? That everyone's response would immediately, well, something's wrong. You're either crazy or you're sick, one or the other. Maybe both. Because it's so obvious, and this is knowledge we can all discern from our senses. It's not cold outside. Or we can discern by, we have the doors wide open, we have the windows wide open. These are simple things we can discern with little intellect we may have, that yeah, this person's talking crazy. But if we think that we don't need Krishna's mercy, that's just as crazy as a statement I just made. If somehow or other all the air was taken out of here, what would we be doing? Sometimes we even experience, especially as you get older, you just can't control certain parts of your body. Like right now, my ankle, I don't know what's wrong with it, but there's something wrong with it. I can't control it. I don't want it to be in pain, but there's something going on. I'm not in control of that. Someone else is. Because I don't want, who wants pain? Only someone, once again, who's having some difficulty, some problem, maybe want pain, but not a sane person. These are common sense things when we think about it. Prabhupada taught us who we were, and he taught us our nature. He taught us your Satchidananda. So, you ask any sane person, do you want to die? No. Do you want to be happy? Yes. Do you want to be stupid, or you want to be in knowledge? Oh, I want to have knowledge. These are simple things, and this is who we are. This is what Prabhupada taught us very simply. You're Satchidananda. This is your nature. Come, realize your nature. Chant Hare Krishna. Take prasadam. Associate with each other lovingly. Be happy. You often said, what is the difficulty? So, if we meditate, what's the saying? It's difficult for the difficult, it's simple for the simple. So, to accept Srila Prabhupada's teachings deeply in our heart means to really meditate on them, to act on them. And then to simply try to share that with others. And in this way, we'll see. We'll become happy, and hopefully we can help others become happy. Everybody wants to be happy. So this is a simple process. Right now we're sharing each other. In fact, I'm getting ready to ask you to share your realizations. And then we're going to take some nice, wonderful foodstuffs, which is actually, once again, the mercy of the Lord. So it's not difficult. Let's encourage each other to stay on this simple path that Srila Prabhupada had given us, and not become illusioned by all the smartphones. All the ideas that are on those smartphones from all the living entities who are being engaged by the modes of material nature. You can find anything now on the smartphones. Even Krishna consciousness, if you look hard enough. Yeah, so many devotees are. And there's a quote. I can't remember where I saw it. Maybe it was on Facebook. Someone posted that the Prabhupada was saying it's very nice to use this technology to spread Krishna consciousness. Something like that. As we were discussing earlier, utilization is the principle. So utilizing energy, anything in Krishna's service is good. But utilizing that same thing for our sense gratification is bad. So always choose what's good. Always choose what's good for us and good for everyone. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to hear your realization. Which Prabhu?
Say that this is very obvious. How come such a small percentage of the Earth's population is engaged right now in Krishna consciousness if it's so obvious?
That's a question you're asking.
Yeah.
Small percentage of your.
Yeah.
Well, as I was stating earlier, in this place where we are, we're the minority. The majority is in the spiritual world. So even if this small percentage is engaged, we should realize the majority, even if this small percentage is only engaged, they are part of the bigger percentage. The larger percentage is engaged in Krishna consciousness. The smaller percentage is here in the material world, being engaged by the three modes of material nature. Anyone else like to take it? Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, well, I think that how we see who is taking to the mercy may differ. Like, we can also say that other people are taking to the mercy of God. That they may not have the same knowledge we do, but we can see that's actually prevalent, right? It's like Mississippi or this part of the country, actually. I mean, a lot of people go to church. There's some, they're experiencing the mercy of God. Maybe they don't know about Krishna. So just something, different angles.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions, realizations? Yes, Mom.
Well, lately I'm thinking about how preaching nowadays is kind of different from how it was like when I joined, which was over 30 years ago. And over the years, people are more cautious now. People are more holding back. People are connected to the internet, so they feel like they know stuff. It's quite a different experience. It has to be very gradual or something. I've been pondering this. That it's not. In the old days, it was like everybody was hippies. Let's find something new. And so we gave them something new. Now it's different.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I think the one thing that's similar though nowadays as before, which is the same, is that people are suffering. So they may be different in some ways, but the suffering is still there. So we have to always remember that Srila Prabhupada actually, it's like which I mentioned. Someone who sees another suffering as his own. So, to feel truly compassion for the living entities, Prabhupada describes this as eyes anointed with the salve of love. And anyone who was in Srila Prabhupada's presence for any amount of time experienced that love. You could experience it, you could feel it. You could see it in so many ways. But that's the potency of someone who is so Krishna conscious. And so, this is a wise person, as is described here. And I think that is the one common denominator, that the living entities are still suffering in this material world. And I have to always realize how they're suffering so much. We often may become, we're kind of in our Krishna conscious bubble, so to speak. We don't, we may get an anxiety about things, but for the most part, devotees realize, gosh, how fortunate we are. And, but we can't forget that in general, the living entities in this material world are suffering. Even the ones that we may think, oh, they're so wealthy, look how they're enjoying. No, they're not. They are not. In fact, some of them are suffering the most. But we or the general public may identify material wealth and certain things as pleasure. It's not necessarily the case. I mean, I've come across a number of people who materially are well off, but I can tell you for a fact, they're not happy. They're suffering. This movement is one of the movements that can actually relieve humanity of their suffering condition. So we shouldn't be shy in spreading it. We should take every ounce of our energy to try to help spread this movement. Yes, Guru.
I wanted to say I'm suffering.
Thank you for sharing that. Mother, are you going?
Prabhupada did say as long as we're in a material body that we're going to be, it's not that the trials and tribulations end when we actually advance in Krishna consciousness, that we still have to deal with these things, but that we're not so affected by them. That's
Yes, good point. Yogi and then Mother.
I appreciate your point about, as Mother Madhavapuri's point about the internet. It does seem to me that most people nowadays, they get their experience by Googling and then looking at whatever they can find there to understand something. And so we don't, an organization like ours or other organizations, they may not get as many people actually coming and personally experiencing it. Whereas in our time, people could read a book, but it was our book to get the personal experience. Often people would come for a night or two or more just to get the experience. Whereas nowadays, people don't bother to do that. That's too much time. They usually would just Google it and look at it and go to this and go to that, and then they feel that, I've got the experience. So it is a little bit, a lot different, as Mother Madhavapuri was saying, to teach people about it these days, because they generally don't get the time to get the experience on a personal level. They get the experience through virtual reality.
Yeah, thank you.
So I was going to add that, I was going to say that actually we know more about our suffering, whereas a lot of people out there don't know they're suffering. They don't have the standard of how much better it can be, and they, whatever little good they're happy about, and they, especially if their karma's good right now, they don't believe they're suffering. We know, but it's hard to stretch our mind to understand how they're, because they do not feel like they're suffering.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Mother?
And then there's also the point that people that have wealth and fame and notoriety, they have so much material facility but then they're still not happy. Like you see that sometimes these kind of people, they actually take their own lives because they're searching for happiness and they have everything that's materially available, and they're still not happy. The guy that's, you know, doing the 8 to 5 or whatever, he can, you know, keep trying for material success, you know, hoping that he'll become happy. But somebody that's already got it and they're still completely frustrated and despondent, sometimes you see that they feel like they have no recourse.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark. That's nice. Yogi, you have something else?
No, just talk about the same thing I was talking about. Essentially.
Okay. So, any other realizations? Yes, ma'am.
With every possession that we may have, there comes a responsibility for its proper use, proper engagement. And improper engagement brings anxiety.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions, realizations? Oh, glory to the Prabhu.